Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Finding and Telling Your Story. I want to give everyone a heads up that this is not just a presentation. This is a conversation, so feel free to post any questions or comments to YouTube or tweet to us directly at RPS123shoot SHOOT. And if you're listening after the live broadcast, still ask away. We will follow up with any comments that get posted. For those of you who don't know us, I am Amanda Sutt, and I'm creative director here at Rock, Paper, Scissors. And we are a branding and marketing firm. We have been in this business for over 30 years, so we have seen a lot of change and done a lot of changing ourselves to be able to keep up with the time. We focus on our clients' brands, not just the logo and the marketing collateral, but the entire experience. And today, joining us is our content marketer, Valerie Kinney.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Excellent. All right, let's dive into this. So storytelling has been around for as long as humans have walked this earth. People have used stories to educate and entertain all throughout history. And as time has gone on, we have discovered new ways to tell stories through writing, song, dance, art, drama, now TV, YouTube, exactly what we're doing right now. But what does storytelling have to do with your brand?
So the answer, in short, is everything. Stories are some of your greatest and most powerful tools for informing people about your brand, who you are, how you got here, where you plan to go, your mission, vision, values, and more. So having a great story to tell can help you connect with your audience in a more meaningful way, and that's why you need these stories. It can help them truly understand who you are and what you do by sparking their emotions and speaking to that humanistic side of us where we all just like that human element, and you can offer education and understanding and even help set you apart from your competition. So the role of storytelling in your business, what does that play? It's a good question, and it's more than just to create some advertisements. Marketing Week put it this way, that a brand story isn't just something businesses should refer to every time they launch a marketing campaign or issue a press release. It should be the foundations on which a future growth strategy is built. And Bernadette Jiwa, who we love here at Rock, Paper, Scissors, she further explains that one of the real roles of storytelling when it comes to marketing is to show your customer how your product makes him the hero of his story. So in other words, the story shouldn't be about telling the product story, but rather the story of the customer in the presence of that product. And she gives some great examples. We've got this video that hopefully works. This Ikea Start Something New folding chair. So we're going to play that real quick.
Yes.
Empieza algo nuevo.
Okay, so in that we saw where the product was sort of the background focus. This man, he had one change in his routine, and so he made a purchase to buy a chair because there was no room for him on the bench. And it led him to think about things differently and kind of refresh his perspective, and took him on adventures all around the world. And how it made a difference in his life. And I really like how this ad was described as the unlimited potential of a chair. You don't really think about it until after you see how it's affected one person. And then our next example, Johanna Bradford's coloring books. In this case, our attention is not necessarily drawn to the coloring book and how people have enjoyed these, but more so what people do with her coloring books. And she encourages them to, once you're finished, upload it. I want to showcase it on my website. And that's exactly what she's done. People are excited about sharing their masterpieces, and the thought that, hey, my coloring is going to be featured on this person's website. So this leads us to the question of, where can you find your stories? And really, there are endless places. You just have to take a look around. But we're going to give you a few examples of where you can find these stories to tell.
Your history and how you got where you are. Don't be afraid to share the rough beginnings and how things grew and changed over time. There is a good story in there. It is unique and it's only to you, and perhaps a learning experience as well. So don't be ashamed and don't be afraid.
Your life experiences are also another place where you can pull these stories from, because it's a lot of times your life and how you were seeking a change that's led you to do what you're doing now. And if you're familiar with rock, paper, scissors, you've probably heard at least a little bit of our story over the years, which combines life experience with the history of the company and how it grew. Amanda's mom starting RPS in the 80s. She was at a point in which she was ready for a career change, but she also wanted to be able to spend more time with Amanda as she grew up, and that's kind of how our business was born.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Also, how you helped a client solve a problem. So what did you do that made a big difference? That is part of your ongoing story there. Also, how did you resolve a conflict? That's a little bit of a twist of it, but yeah, there's always a heightened emotion, and that's always for good storytelling. That's why we all go see the big blow 'em up blockbusters.
Your expertise is another great place to find a story, especially if you're in a very specific area where you've got expert knowledge that someone else might not have. And it's a good time to showcase what you know, or how you can do something better or differently than others, and also why it works.
Also, client successes. This is a great opportunity to include client testimonials to add to your credibility, which can help a potential client better connect with you and choose you.
So now you know what the role of storytelling plays in your business and where you can find those stories. So it's time to figure out how to craft that story in a compelling way and to find the most appropriate places to tell them. So first, you've got to know what elements make a good story.
So first, a main character. Be sure to explain who they are. This could also be a chair, by the way. Mm-hmm. They work. What is his or her family life like?
We talked about earlier, touches can help people connect with your products or services on a more personal level and kind of put themselves in that position of, okay, I can see this working for me. Also, there's the element of surprise. An unexpected plot twist is a great way to kind of grab somebody's attention. And so here we've got the dragon popping up from behind the sandcastle.
Also, descriptive language. Readers like to see a story in addition to hearing or reading it. Using descriptive language that appeals to that 5 senses to help paint the picture in their minds in a way that will make your brand story more memorable and really stand out. And then also being very conscious of having a clear beginning, middle, and end. The beginning should be attention grabbing. The middle should maintain the reader's interest. And the end should bring the story to a nice close that shares the outcome, if applicable, and give the reader a clear call to action.
All right, so now we get to start talking about telling your story. Once you know what to include, it's time to get that out there. And it might seem like a pretty natural thing to do since we all tell stories all the time to our families, our friends, and our coworkers almost daily. We've all been in a break room and heard a coworker come in and say, "Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what happened to me this weekend," and proceed to tell you all about their weekend. Sometimes it might be funny, or sometimes you're like, "Whoa, too many details." We've all been there. But it's not always that simple, especially for businesses and when it comes to telling your brand story. Again, Bernadette Jiwa, she said, "It doesn't matter how good your product or service is if you don't understand the world view of the person who will buy it. The first step to mastering the art of brand storytelling and being a better marketer is to stand in your customer's shoes." So with that in mind, we've got a few good storytelling pointers we want to share with you. And so first, just to practice. Practice, we've all heard it, practice makes perfect. And so if you'll be sharing your story in front of an audience or recording it, you want to practice in front of your family, your friends, your colleagues. Don't just stick to practicing in front of a mirror. You want to get that human reaction, and that way you know what places you need to work on just by people's facial expressions. This can also help you perfect your volume and your tone of voice, hand gestures, eye contact, facial expressions, and even how to pace that story. And all of these elements are important because it makes for a more captivating storytelling experience and something that your audience will stick with and really enjoy. And if you're writing your story for a blog, an email, a brochure, or some other written format, you want to include small paragraphs and bullet points just to make it easier to read. I was at a conference recently, and when they were talking to us about crafting content for email marketing, they said, make sure it passes the grandma test. Would your grandma look at this and read everything that it's saying? Keep in mind. And then also you want to make sure your voice is consistent throughout your writing. So meaning that the entire piece, when someone sits down and reads it, it sounds like it's coming from one person rather than several different people. And the story is well paced, and again, that you use your grammar and punctuation and spelling properly.
All right, so storytelling is a very powerful tool for your business and organization. And best of all, it's free. Take some time to find your best stories and start telling them. So we're ready to take some questions now. So go ahead and post any if you have any additional ones, and we have some that we got ahead of time and throughout. So, all right, let's go for it.
All right, first up, my business isn't that exciting. How do I make our work sound more exciting?
Well, first, don't fabricate anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's an important part of it. Even if your business isn't exciting, start thinking about what is your customer experiencing with your business. And maybe, that's why we use that example of the chair. A folding chair is not that exciting. But it got to go on this great journey. So even if what you provide also isn't exciting, what it might create because of it is exciting, or it can be exciting. And so you just have to figure out what part of the story you want to capture. It might not be a direct correlation. It might be something out there. But really look for something that's interesting. If it's interesting to you, if it stands out, that's a good place to start. And then going back to the practice, practice telling your story orally before you write it. So see how it resonates with people. Are they engaging? Are they asking questions? Do they glaze over? And then start to adjust it. So field test it on some people. Go find some people to tell it to, and see how it goes. And as stuff starts to resonate, then you have a bit of a winner.
All right. Next question: are there any rules I should follow before deciding to share a story that involves a client?
Good question. Usually just ask permission. I'm always of that. Usually they're thrilled for you to give them some cross publicity anyway. But when in doubt, just make sure it's okay. Because I know we have definitely worked with clients where we have work that we can't share. It's either before releases, or it's very hush-hush for some reason, whatever the politics of it are. So it's always better in this sense to ask for permission. Other things I'll tell you to beg for forgiveness, but this one is always ask.
All right, last question that we have right now. Is it okay to tell the same story in different ways? For example, putting the lengthy version of the story on my blog, recording a video for my YouTube channel, and then using snippets of both for email newsletters and other marketing and advertising pieces?
Yes, that's the short answer. Yes. Repetition is a good thing, and having it in segments for different audience levels. So somebody usually spend a little more time reading through it, but if they're scanning their email inbox, they're probably not going to read or have the patience or time to be able to get through it. So having different versions of it for your different audiences and their different circumstances is very appropriate.
Mm-hmm. And I'll add to that, if for some reason you're worried that maybe you've got too much or that it's so long people might lose interest, break it up into several pieces, make a series of it.
Yeah.
That's an easy way to get like a month's worth of blog content, and you can do corresponding videos and sprinkle it into your email marketing and your social media, and you've really got a well-rounded strategy for getting that message out.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for Finding and Telling Your Story. A recap of the blog will be posted. A recap of the webinar will be posted on our blog. So stay tuned to 123shoot.com. And we'll be sharing the date and time and topic of our July webinar very soon. So be on the lookout for that too. Thanks, everyone.